and you can also watch others. For example, when you don't really know how to say openly some rejoicing, and then you watch others how they do it, and I could do that. I mean, coming from Europe, when I came to the States, and here everyone is always saying, "It's so great what you're doing," and everything. So to me, first this feels very. It felt artificial. It says, "No, this is over the head," or something. But now I'm really. I started rejoicing in that because it's such a nice way of interacting, and I don't know how authentic it is from everyone, but at least it creates an atmosphere of appreciating what is there, and I mean, hopefully everyone does it with a genuine rejoicing when they say these things. So like this, we can be inspired by what we see, what others do, and then just try it out.
I'm dealing with emotions because of a recent death. And maybe it's not so recent because it was in December. But it's always the thoughts about what could have changed, you know, instead of now not able to, you know, have any change. And, you know, it's redundant. And it's very sorrowful.
Yeah. Yes, I think going through the grieving process is very special. Maybe even some of these teachings about emotions you cannot really apply right away. It's so grief is so strong, especially if it is someone very close to you. Talking about the enlightened aspect of it doesn't make any sense. Yeah? So grieving process, especially when we are not a trained practitioner, grieving process, as I learned with dealing with people at grieving process, and also learning from teachers, psychologists, and also Buddhist teachers about the grieving process, it really has its own rhythm. And for example, when you say it is already so long, what I learned, for example, about the grieving process, the normal one is 2 years, where you go from phase to phase. You have phases where you think, now I'm over it, and then you dive down again, and it comes all up again as if it happened yesterday. And so the first thing to know is that that is normal, and that is what all people have to go through in the grieving. And maybe just to relax with that. Another way would also be to seek help with someone who knows about these grieving processes and can give a more immediate help. And in a long-term perspective, that may be too strong right now for you to all digest, but anyway, all these teachings, they make their way. So the long-term approach to it would be to get familiar with the fact that death is part of living, and appreciating death could mean that we appreciate even more what life is and what we share now with people, by knowing everything will find its end. Separation is everywhere, and ultimately in death it can be, but there are lots of smaller deaths as well that we go through in our life. So one important thing is to become familiar with that by not closing ourselves to it, by thinking over it regularly, and accepting the fact that that's part of life. And what the Buddhist teaching then tells us, that death is just the opposite of birth. the life of our mind stream is not the end. And so what is more important than caring just about this lifespan is to think about what will happen later and prepare for our own death. Thinking about karma, thinking about whatever we leave as a trace in our consciousness, in our mind stream, will be there and express itself in one way or another in the future. So to know that what we do to our minds, that matters. By thinking about death and the preciousness of life, we can become much more aware of that, and be more conscious, be more inspired to think about our real values in life, our priorities, and think about what can I do with my own mind, with my own life, so that it makes sense. Death is a very good reminder and a very powerful one, a very painful one. Yeah, and then there's another aspect to it, is by seeing how much pain it causes to you. You know what all others go through who have death in their mind. And so that is a way that you can, a little bit overcome this feeling of being separate. Here, me, there, the others. Then you see it is happening to every one of us, it's a way to open the heart, have more loving kindness and compassion with everyone.